Purposes of single camera techniques. The first single camera technique I'll be talking about is a TV drama or with Doctor Who. The purpose is a sci-fi TV show which aims to entertain the audience through sci-fi. The next is a comedy called Mrs. Brown's Boys. The purpose of this TV show is that it is a comical show which intends to make the audience laugh. The documentary is called Planet Earth. A documentary is to inform the audience on a certain subject, like animals or nature. Adverts. Nike. This advert is to inform the audience, but not for an entertainment purpose, but to persuade to buy that product they are advertising. Narrative-based music videos. XXXTentacion Moonlight. This video aims to entertain the viewer through music and the musician's voice. Corporate and promotional American airline safety video. This video will be to inform the viewer as it revolves around safety and how to take care when on the aeroplane. Platforms for screening single camera productions. The first platform screening single camera production is Sky. This is instant, has a good picture quality, therefore is 4K, and it is professional layout. However, it is expensive to use. The next is Cineworld. Cineworld releases new films. The cost is effective and it has high quality through IMAX and 4DX and 3D films. However, the price of the cinema increasing leads to the decline in moviegoers. Next thing is a film festival called Sundance. This is for professional filmmakers and they get to see new and upcoming films. In my opinion, I do not think there is any disadvantages with this. The next thing is called YouTube. YouTube is where amateurs can create their own piece of work and it is free to use. However, the quality is not that good on YouTube and not all videos are professional. Furthermore, social media, for example, if Facebook is free to use and to sign up. It is easy to access and you can choose multiple videos whilst using Facebook and other social media networks like Snapchat and Instagram. In my opinion, I do not think there are any disadvantages with this single camera production. This is Unit 20 single camera techniques. The first one we're talking about is an establishing shot. An establishing shot is when the camera is showing us as the viewer where the scene is set and when it will take place. It is usually to show the audience something important or to show an important character in that scene. An example of this is Family Guy. The next scene I will be talking about is a master shot. It is a scene where the entire duration of it is filmed from start to finish from an angle that keeps all the characters in view. It is also filmed as a long shot. Another example of this is Breaking Bad when they are eating at a table. The next shot I will be talking about is a tracking shot. A tracking shot is where the camera is mounted onto a camera dolly and follows a character in view either beside him or behind him. An example of this is shown through the picture. The next one I'll be talking about is a cutaway. A cutaway is when the first shot is disrupted by another shot which comes into view. The cutaway will usually lead back to the first shot. The next thing I'll be talking about is shot framing. The first shot frame is a wide shot, also known as a long shot. This is when the camera shot shows all of the people in view, their bodies. It is usually shot when the director wants us to see the surroundings of the current scene. An example of this is Pirates of the Caribbean when he's running away from the tribe. The next shot we're talking about is a mid-shot. A mid-shot is when the camera only shows half of his character's body. It is usually used when the director wants us to see the character's movement and gestures. An example of this is Titanic, where Jack is holding Rose. The next shot is a two-shot. A two-shot is when the camera shows us two people in one single frame. The director usually does this when the two characters are speaking to each other. An example of this is Pulp Fiction. A medium close-up is when the camera shows us a quarter of the character's body. This is usually used when we see the character's movements and emotions. This is shown through the picture. Close-ups. A close-up is when the camera shows us the face of the character. This is usually used when the director wants us to see the emotion of the character at that time. The next shot is an extreme close-up. This is when the camera zooms into the face of the character. It is mainly used to show extreme detail and to dramatise the current scene. This is shown through the Remnants poster. The next shot, the frame, is point of view. A POV shot is when the character is showing us what the character is looking at. The shot will sometimes differ between the character's POV, and the reaction of his face. An example is Spider-Man when he first finds out he is Spider-Man. The next framing is consideration of composition, including rule of the third. The rule of the third is when the camera screen is divided into 9 sections of 3. It is used to show the cameraman what is going to be on screen and shows us the height and the width of things. This is shown through the pictures beside it. Over the shoulder angles. An over the shoulder shot is when the camera is lined up over someone or something's shoulder, showing us someone or something from the perspective of the person. This is shown through Harry Potter. The next shot is a shot reverse shot. This is when the shot is taken of someone talking to another person and then it skips to the person talking to the other person who's looking at him. This is shown through the Matthew McConaughey and Leonardo DiCaprio film Wolf of Wall Street. 180-degree rule. The 180-degree rule is where the camera is filmed on one side of an imaginary line where two people are talking to each other. To cross over this line, it would have to be taken in one shot, showing you cutting the 180-degree rule and moving over to the other side. Shot compositional framing. This is similar to the rule of thirds but focuses more on the character's face and emotion. This is used when the camera is close up and lines up with key points of the character's face. It's also used to focus the audience's attention. Next thing I will be talking about is camera angles. The first camera angle is eye level angle. This is when the camera is eye level with the character on screen. It is used when the director wants us to see what the character is feeling and wants us to draw us into the film to make us feel a part of that character. The next one is bird's eye view. This is when the camera is looking down on an object as though we are a bird. A bird's eye view is usually used during scenes where there is a plan, a blueprint or a map. The next angle is the high angle shot. This is when the camera is elevated and is looking down upon the characters. This can be used to make the characters feel vulnerable and powerless against their enemy. A low angle. This is the opposite of a high angle. This is when the camera is lowered so the characters are looking down at the character. This is shot usually to make the character look strong and powerful. This is shown in the blockbuster film Avengers. The next shot is a Dutch tilt. This is when the camera is tilted to one side, making the camera tilted. This shot is used to create a tense sense of disorientation and unease. The next thing is camera movement. The first camera movement I'm talking about is a handheld camera. This camera movement is when the camera is in someone's hand instead of on a tripod. The effect of this camera movement is to make it seem as if we are walking with the person. The next one is a shoulder mount. This is camera movement when the camera is attached to the cameraman's shoulder. This allows the camera to move wherever the cameraman moves, making the scene realistic and makes the viewer feel as if they are part of the movie. The next camera is a Steadicam camera. It is similar to the shoulder mount, however the Steadicam is mounted to the cameraman's waist. The use of this is to focus on the user's movements, allowing a smooth shot even if it is on a irregular surface. The next camera movement is tracking. A tracking shot is when the camera is mounted on a camera dolly, then it is placed on round. This allows the camera to move alongside the character if there is a car chase scene or a running scene. It allows the camera to pick up a smooth shot. The next thing is a dolly. The dolly is a bit of equipment where the camera is placed on so that you can get a smooth shot during the moving scene. The next camera is a jib shot. This is when the camera is placed on one end of a crane, allowing it to have a seesaw-like movement. The use of a jib shot is for high shots or shots which need to be moved a great distance. The next shot is a panning shot. This is when the camera is moved from side to side so the viewer can get a panoramic view of the scene. The shot can also be moved up and down. The next shot is a zooming shot. This is when the camera changes the focus from a long shot to a close-up shot. The zooming shot allows the viewer to see close into the scene. It is also the viewer to see the emotion of the character. The next shot is a trombone shot. A trombone shot is when the camera is mounted to a dolly. The camera is then pulled back, but the cameraman zooms in with the camera, making it seem the character is getting further away, but the background is getting closer. This is shown through the French film Lion. Focus pulling. This is when the camera is focusing on one thing in a shot, and then changes focus to another thing. The way this is set up is usually the focus would change from something in the front to something in the back. Maintaining continuity. Maintaining continuity with cameras is a needed thing to have. This is because without continuity the film or show would be everywhere and would not have any fluidity. To ensure that continuity is kept between takes and shots, you need to make sure that the person in film carries on doing what he was about to do in the next take. To ensure that you have consistent lighting, you can make sure that you know what type of weather conditions you need, and if you are inside, make sure you have the same lighting throughout. Tripods can help with consistent positioning because a tripod will stay in one place. If they haven't been moved, it would also keep the film stable. For a good reference point for continuity is an eyeline match. If you are matching someone's eyeline in one scene and plan to carry on with the eyeline match in the next scene, make sure that his eyes are in the same position they were before. The first is Avengers Infinity War. The technique used in this is a long shot, extreme long shot, medium shot, panning shot, zooming shot, and a low shot. In this video we see the Avengers getting beaten by Thanos' helpers, the Outriders, where suddenly a large beam of light comes out of the sky. When the contact is hit, an axe comes flying out of it. When the beam of light vanishes, Thor, Rocket Raccoon and Groot emerge from the beam of light, saving the Avengers from getting killed. The equipment used to film this is a jib and a dolly. The technique used in this scene is an extreme long shot. This scene was used to dramatise a scene. The way the shot dramatises the scene is because we see everything in the back, including all the Wakandan soldiers and Wakanda itself. It also shows some dead people in the back. It also gives us a good image of the three characters. This allows us to see how they are stressed and what is new about them. There is also a low shot which makes the three characters seem strong and powerful. This scene has a big impact on the audience as there are a lot of emotions which lead up to this moment of relief. Before this moment, the audience are feeling worried and scared for our heroes, who are getting beaten by the Outriders. The audience then gets a sigh of relief when Thor arrives and saves our heroes, who have been struck down by the Outriders. Furthermore, the audience feel connected to the characters as we have been through this journey with them. The shot signifies the dominance of the characters. There is also a panning shot which zooms in, showing us the emotions of the characters. The zooming in of the shot signifies that Thor and his accomplices are the heroes. The shot then changes to a medium shot, showing us a closer shot to the face of Thor. This medium shot allows us to see the emotion in Thor and also allows us to see him breathing, which can signify the stress of the moment and also the intensity of what is happening. The benefits of the techniques that have been used is good because it allows the audience to see more of the surroundings. However, at the beginning of the scene, an extreme long shot is used. The benefit of using this is that it allows the audience and the viewers to look at their surroundings and analyse what is going on. Furthermore, the use of the panning shot was used, which went from left to right. This is a benefit because we see what's on the right of the protagonists to what's on the left of them. Alongside this, a zooming shot was used. The benefit of using this shot is that we can actually see the emotion of the characters and we get to inspect what they are doing, how they are feeling. The next thing is David Guetta's song Titanium featuring Sia. The techniques used in this is a medium close-up and an eyeline match. In this video it shows us the face of an army soldier who looks worried, scared and angry because a boy has special powers and it threatens the outside world. The equipment used is a shoulder mount. The only technique that was used in this scene is a medium close-up shot and an eyeline match. This shot is useful in this because it gives us two bits of information in one. The information given to us is that we know he is in the woods at night. This is a medium shot. Furthermore, the close-up shot allows us to see the emotions in his face. The emotions in his face is that we can see are scared, worried and angry. All these emotions are visible in his face. The eyeliner match that was used in this video is also useful because it allows us to be face to face with the soldier as if we were there with him and as if we were telling us to stop doing the things that the boy was doing. This video has an impact on the audience because they will feel scared for the child who's being threatened by the army soldier. The audience will also feel a sense of anger towards the soldier who is about to shoot a little child with special abilities. The benefit of this is having a close-up shot at this point is that the person is showing a lot of emotions in his face at one single time. Also, it allows the viewer to see what the guy is feeling and what his emotions are saying by looking at his face. The drawbacks in this is that it doesn't give us enough information about what is going on. It doesn't allow the viewer to see what the child is feeling and what his emotions are. The next thing I was talking about is Riverdale. In this Riverdale scene, the techniques that were used is an eyeline match, extreme close-up and a zooming shot. The description in this scene is that the characters find out who killed the character of Jason Blossom. Betty Cooper, the protagonist, immediately calls Cheryl Blossom, telling her who killed her brother. She agrees to what she says. The camera zooms into her face to capture a tear and emotion on her face. The equipment used in this is a Steadicam. This is an impact on the audience because it shows the upset of the character. This sense of upset will have a big effect on the audience because the character Cheryl Blossom has just found out that the murderer of her brother, Jason Blossom, was actually murdered by her father. When the audience and the viewers find this out, they would also feel upset with the character. This impact will allow the audience to connect with the character. Before this, the group of characters were looking at a computer where the video of the killer was. This thing can cause intensity and tension. This would have a huge impact on the audience because the audience is also waiting for the character to find out who killed Jason. This is probably the best way to connect the audience to the TV show character because we as the audience are waiting at the same time as the characters, making us as tense as the characters. The benefits of having an extreme close-up of the character's face is important to the current scene because it allows the audience to see the expressions on the character's face. The other technique which is beneficial to the current scene is the zooming shot and the eyeline match, because the eyeline match allows us to see into the eyes of the characters and see whether there is fear or other emotions. However, the drawbacks of having this technique is that we don't really see anything else apart from her face. We know that's where she is, as we have seen it in the previous scene, however we don't really get to see her body positioning. On the other hand, the benefits of the scene, including all the techniques used, overpower the drawbacks as the scene is very powerful in conveying their message through the character of Cheryl Blossom. 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 Cheryl Blossom.